Hello, everyone. Welcome, professor and colleagues. Today, I am going to explain my research project in social linguistics subject. The title is English speaking functions and lexical variations among basic students at the Manual Foundation. Chapter number 1, problem. In this part, we have three main questions. Number 1, what are the main second language learning theories that explain how Emmanuel Foundation students use speaking? Second, for what communicative purpose do students use English during group activities in class? Third, are there differences in the type of vocabulary or in the frequency or participation between men and women, or according to their social origin within the basic course? About justification, this research benefits the children of the Emmanuel Foundation, their families, and society in general, as it provides a description of the language use process they are undergoing within the educational process in which they are immersed. Chapter 1, the context. This research is being conducted at the Emmanuel Foundation, a non-profit organization belonging to the Emmanuel Baptist Church, a religious organization with over 60 years of history. The foundation is located specifically in La Castellana, Urdaneta Street, Chacao Municipality, United States, Venezuela. The foundation institutional mission is to form and build individuals holistically based on principles and values functioning as agents of change who positively transform families and society through education, social service, and spiritual guidance. To this end, various programs have been implemented, such as medical clinics, clothing banks, comprehensive care for the elderly, educational reinforcement, and comprehensive training programs. Guitar, violin, drums, piano, Italian, and English classes, including basic and intermediate English classes. About aims, to objective, general objective, to analyze the use and speaking English, social linguistic perspective in student of the basic level of the Emmanuel Foundation in order to determine its communicative function and lexical variations according to their socio-demographic profiles. Specific objectives to the theoretical support the process of English use among participants in the Emmanuel Foundation's basic English class. Second, to identify the functions of languages as the students interact in the Emmanuel Foundation basic English class. Third, to compare the variations in vocabulary used among the students or the different genders or social backgrounds within the Emmanuel Foundation's basic English class. Chapter 2. About the theoretical basic partner, we have three main theories. Number 1, Delheim's theory of the ethnography of communication. Ethnography of communication is concerned with the institutions and use the partner and functions of the speaking as an activity in its own right. It begins by taking an ethnographic context at its point of departure and then asks why the partners of communication are and how these partners are organized and relate to the rest of cultures. Hymes. This theory uses one important acronym, SPEAKING. SPEAKING, the meaning is setting participants, ends, at, sequence, keys, instrumentalities, norms, and genres. The second theory is about William Labov's variations theory. The study of language change in its social context can be described as secular linguistics. It is the study of language as used in everyday life by members of the social community and is based on the principle that the language of any given community as inherent part of this social structure. And the third theory is about Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. Every function in the child's cultural development occurs twice. First, on the social level, and later on the individual level. First, between people, and then inside the child. This applies equally to voluntary attention, to logical memory, and to the formation of context. All the higher functions originate as actual relationships between individuals. These are our main theories about our research project. And in this project, we have main concept about fluency, interlanguage, language acquisition device, second language acquisition, and others. About this section 2, we have different previous studies in the field. The first is about exploring multilingualism, English as a lingua franca in the European framework. The second, the title is Sociolinguistics and a second language acquisition, a validate approach and its implications for second language education. The third word, the title is Second Language Learning and Socioeconomic Development, interrogating agglomerativity from the perspective of preservist modern language professionals. About chapter 3, methodology. About this part, we have a research approach. Quality research is a situated activity that locates the observer in the world. It consists of a set of interpretive material practice that make the world visible. This research is quality. Research methods are the tools and techniques that researchers use to gather data. These include observation, interviews, surveys, and experiments, which are designed to address specific research questions. A research design is a framework that has been created to find answers to research questions. It constitutes a blueprint for the collection, measurement, and analysis of the data. About the research techniques and instruments. As previously stated, this study employed two techniques, observation and surveys. Both methods were used with their respective instruments, an observation guide and a questionnaire. The application of both approaches helped to enrich the research in clearer and more comprehensive way. Population and participants. The specific population or universe consists of the 5 participants of the basic English course at the Emmanuel Foundation in Caracas, Venezuela. All right. The data analysis was conducted using notebooks where relevant aspects of the participants spoke English were recorded in writing. In addition, recordings were used to capture more details of the observations, and a questionnaire was administered, which allowed for the analysis of the information. Chapter 4, Results. Initially, it's one note that educational level of parents of the participants in the basic English group is low, with 60% having only primary and secondary education, compared to 40% with university studies. This, along with other questions in the questionnaire regarding geography location, shows that the majority also come from vulnerable areas of Caracas and its surroundings, such as Petare. This could also lead to inference that the students attend public schools. Reviewing the questionnaire, it can be highlighted that most parents consider English important in Venezuela, which helps us infer that the reason they decided to have their children study English at the Emmanuel Foundation is related to wanting to provide them with better life opportunities and promoting future with the strategic language. This is the feature number 3, classroom interaction with progress and outcomes, routines, and functional language, teaching strategy and activities like speaking strategy, listening and pronunciation strategy, multi-skills integration, informal learning during break, students' background and equity, classroom environment, teacher practice, student participation and interactions. Conclusions. During this research, it can be highlighted that the students in Group A of Basic English at the Manual Foundation are indeed using speaking skills in the classroom when answering the teacher's questions and exchanging comments with their classmates. It would be ideal for the classroom to have other visual materials, such as posters with information in English, that can visually promote the use of speaking skill. The use of images during the sessions contribute to a better assimilation of concepts and encourage students to use speaking skills. Taking into account Labos' postulates, we see that there is a certain relation between the parents' level of education and the influence this has on their support in helping their children reinforce the knowledge learned in class, and therefore on the use of speaking skill. Additionally, the fact that some students are having English class in primary school, while others are not as influenced, their prior knowledge and in some cases their ability to improve speaking in class. However, despite these circumstances, we emphasize that the teacher's role will be crucial in ensuring that the group, despite and inequalities, they may have from different backgrounds, progresses in using spoken language in their constant interactions, both inside and outside the classroom. It's recommended to make better use of the context to further improve speaking skills. Thank you so much for your attention.